Hi there. Welcome to Life is All About Choices. My name is Nancy Muller, and I have a really special guest today, and I'm so excited that you're here. Her name is Nikki, and her story is fabulous, just amazing. If you have ever struggled with something that you really want to do, a goal that you want to reach, and you just struggle with it and you can't figure out like how to make it happen, and you've given up, and then you get mad at yourself for giving up, you really want to stay tuned and listen to what Nikki has to say today. Nikki, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I so appreciate this opportunity.
I am very excited to share your message with my listeners and viewers. And before we go any farther, please tell us who you are, what you do, and why you're so fabulous.
Well, my name is Nikki, and I actually, I'm not too sure what I do other than to help people just believe in themselves and help people to know that there is hope out there and you're not alone. I was 730 pounds at one point in time, and I've lost 300 pounds. And in the process of doing that, I've learned to love myself. And I've also learned to help others and help them to learn to love themselves. No matter what you're facing in life, we all can do hard things mentally, physically, and emotionally, and spiritually.
Well, that's what I think makes you so fabulous. So I'm glad that you concur. And I have to say that Nikki, I love watching your posts. I love what you're posting because you keep things so real. I mean, I read and I watch your videos, and you say things like, today I tried to do something and it was really hard, but I know that this is what I want to do. So I persevered and I kept going. So you let people know that not only that you're struggling, but you know that the struggle is worthwhile because you have an end goal that you're working towards, but also you're keeping it real. You're not just making it sound like it's all rainbows and unicorns. You're letting people know that your journey is challenging, painful, frustrating, rewarding, has its ups, it has its downs. And through it all, you're not telling people, look what I'm doing. You're telling people you can do this too. And that's one of the things that I just really love about you.
Well, and that's what it is you can't just put the pretty stuff up. I think on social media, there is so much of the pretty stuff, or you see the size 2 girl or the perfect ab guy, or, just the perfect family. And you only see the good points because they only want to post the good points because social media is their escape. They can pretend to be anything they want,
Right.
but there is so much that goes on so-called behind the scenes, right? And I just believe that, people need to know the struggle that I'm going through because so many people maybe aren't facing it exactly the same way, but they are facing something similar so they can relate.
And like I said at the beginning, we all have struggles, when we're on a journey for a goal that we feel is really worthwhile, and it's something that we feel that we're passionate about, it's part of our purpose and our mission in life, we know, okay, we want to keep walking towards that goal. Um, but it's not always easy. And sometimes I have felt like the more I learn, the less I know. And then I'm like, oh, when is it just going to be like a ledge to rest on? Like maybe for 5 years I could just rest on this ledge for a little bit, and I don't have to
Right.
learn anything new. I don't have to do anything new. And the universe is like, no, come on, let's go. We're going to keep going here. And I'm sure that it's everyone who is walking towards that end game, is dealing with that, whether they're trying to give up an addiction, or they're trying to get healthier, or they're trying to get their diploma, or, whatever it is, whatever that end game is for them. And I kind of use that term loosely because end game, there really is no such thing as an end game, right? We think oh good, when I get there, then I'm done, then everything's good. But really that is just a resting point too. So and one of the things that I really want to bring up is how you are motivating people. I mean, your posts are so heartfelt, and so you're letting people know, like, come on, you can do it. see what I'm doing? What do you need to do? What do you need to do today? Tell me what the people are, what's the feedback from the people who are following you and talking to you and being behind you on all of this?
Some of the greatest feedback I think I get is that I forget about myself when I'm replying back to people, because you find out that they're going through something that post has to do with. And the thing about my post is people are like, oh, you're going to have to start, the more following you get, the more this and that. You've got to start working your post out during the week so you can put it. I don't do that. I tried it and it just didn't work because it comes from my heart.
Yes.
It's whatever's on my heart. I wake up in the morning and I give a good post for a positive thought in the day. And it's whatever is literally on my heart. And it is what people need to hear, because then the replies come in. And it's never really, yeah, sometimes it's about me, you're doing a good job. Yeah. That's great to hear. And I love that. And the support keeps me going and it keeps me getting to my goal, right? But helping others, I forget about myself. I forget about my problems. I forget about the struggles that I have. And I am helping somebody else and encouraging somebody else to change their life for their next generations and their next generations. And that is just such a blessing. And it just makes your heart smile. Like there's no other way to describe it other than your heart is smiling, because you really, you've heard of movies or stories and people are like, I got that warm little fuzzy feeling. Well, every time when somebody replies, I get that warm little fuzzy feeling inside my heart, inside my body. And it makes it just so great. And you find yourself just not even focusing on you anymore at that point, and you are just focusing on others.
I don't know who said it first, but I've heard it from everyone from Zig Ziglar to Wayne Dyer, that if you really want to be successful and forget about your problems, help someone else be successful and forget about their problems. And you're like the poster child for that.
And so many people have said that. And actually when so many people Zig Ziglar and even Oprah, so many people have said, you got to give back, and just, if you give to others, you'll find yourself, or you'll get where you want to be in life. We never get exactly where we think we want to be in life, because we get to that one level and then we're like, okay, I can go to the next level, because it's growth. It's what we're supposed to do. Right. And as long as you're growing and helping others, you are going to have an abundance life, like just in an abundance life. And I think that's what the biggest thing is that we forget who we are by serving others and loving others. Mm-hmm. And but in the same process, you find out who you are, and you also find out that you're very blessed as well. Some people go through a lot more. They may not be 730 pounds like I was, but they're going through a lot more worse than what I could ever imagine.
And I think you hit it right on the head when you said that, because we always look at what we think our problem is or our struggle, and we say, oh gosh, I'm having this problem or this struggle. And it's not that our problem or struggle, if that's what we're going to put a name to it, is any better or worse than someone else's. And that right there is something to hold on to and remember, like, okay, this is my struggle or my challenge, but this person is having this struggle and that challenge, and this person is having this struggle and that struggle. Now, so someone who's struggling with an addiction might think like, this is the worst thing to have to deal with ever. Someone who's struggling with trying to get healthy, they might think this is the worst thing to have to deal with ever. Someone who is struggling with domestic violence, they might think this is the worst struggle ever. And you really can't say my struggle is worse than your struggle. And I think that when we try to say mine is worse than yours, that's what keeps us in victim and vengeance mode. And when we're in victim and vengeance mode, our energy is so low. And so it's very difficult to have even the desire to want to step out of where we think we are when we're in that really low energy space.
Exactly. We're always taught doomsday, I think. Yeah. And poor woe's me, right? Mm-hmm. There's a good statement that my uncle used to always say when I was younger, and I thought it was really funny. And he's like, I'll show you, I'll hurt me. So in other words, we we go forth and we try to be something, right? And we know it's wrong and it's not for us and everything else, but we're pretty hot-headed, right? So I'll show you, I'm going to
Oh,
hurt me, because
yeah,
in the end I'm hurting myself because there's
exactly.
nobody else to hurt, right?
Right.
So many of us with our addictions, whatever they may be, drug, alcohol, sex, food, there's so many out there that you are hurting yourself in the end, but you're trying to prove a point to everybody else. I can be this drug addict and still be functioning. I
Yeah.
can be this alcoholic and still go to work. I can eat all this food and I'm still alive. Okay. But in the end, you're hurting yourself,
Mm.
because I ate all the food and I did what I wanted to do as an adult. And I ended up hurting myself in the end. I was put on oxygen and given months to live. So in the end, you hurt yourself. That's all you're doing, is hurting yourself. And you can't continue to go on this vicious circle of life and continue to hurt yourself, because eventually you're going to get so far down that you're not going to know how to climb back up. But
Mhm.
how you do that is by watching other people and helping other people and listening to them.
Yeah.
Because if you're at the very bottom of the pit, the very, very bottom of the pit, the deepest well you could possibly imagine, okay? And you have no way of climbing up. It's just slimy and you can't get up, right?
Mhm.
And if you just turn to somebody and you help them a little bit, just a little bit, as much as your pinky,
Mhm.
then guess what? That's going to dry up a little bit down there in that well, and you're going to be able to climb a little bit out.
Yep.
And you're going to be able to keep doing that. Now, eventually, you're going to get some point in the well, and you're going to feel like you're on top of the world, and I don't need to do this no more. It's all about me again, right? And then
Yep.
you're going to slide down that well a little bit again. But that's what it's all about. You have to find a balance, and you have to find, as you're helping others, make sure you're writing down things for yourself, and you're looking at yourself as well. So you continue to be the best person for yourself, first off, but for others, because somebody is going to relate to what you're saying or what you're doing. Not everybody's going to relate. And you're going to get people that are like, oh my gosh, on one of the posts I posted about being in the store and somebody saying a rude comment. This was just recent. And somebody had said, well, what made her be 730 pounds, and she, is lost 300 and still can't walk in the store. And when I first read that, I was like, wow, I guess, they're right. And then I was like, you know what? No, this comment isn't even about me. Do you
Mhm.
know what I mean? It's about
Yep.
what they're feeling and what
Right.
they're going through. So it's
Right.
whatever struggle that person was going through.
Right.
And so you can't allow the negative to affect you either. Sometimes I'll just delete the negative comments. Sometimes I'll reply back because maybe that person really needs help. And if it's on my heart, I will reply back. But if it's
Right.
not, I'll just delete the
Yeah. I
comment.
love that because, there are a lot of people who put things out there like haters gotta hate and, like they make fun of it or whatever. But, it's best not to throw that kind of energy at it. If to have this kind of a negative energy, a hateful energy, and then throw negative and hateful energy back at it, all you're doing is making that larger. And in when you think about it, every one of us is responsible for ourselves. I'm responsible for me. You're responsible for you. So if something you say or do or post rubs me the wrong way and I put a snarky comment on it, that's about me and how I'm feeling in the moment. We all have to take 100% responsibility for our choices. That's why I love calling this show "Life is All About Choices," because every choice has a consequence, whether negative or positive. And of course, whether it's negative or positive is all in the eye of the person looking at it. It's all in the perception. And you posted something that I believe it was this morning about two of the animals. I don't remember what the
Two
animals were.
bulls.
Two
They were
bulls
two bulls. Yeah.
every morning. One is negative and one is positive. And,
Mhm.
which one's going to win in a fight? And your answer was, whichever one you feed the most, whichever one is the strongest. And that is absolutely the facts. When you are having a bad day or feeling down on yourself, if you're going to go down that rabbit hole of negativity, then of course you're going to bring more negativity onto yourself. But when you can say, oh, okay, you know what? I'm just going to, even if it's just to say one positive thing and sit and really just take that in. Okay, now What next positive thing can I do? Because it's about choices.
It is. And some days you don't feel like being so positive. There are days like that, you know.
Mhm.
You're gonna have days like that, but it's really what you choose. And I always tell people, don't listen to the chaos in our head and follow your heart,
Yeah.
because in the chaos in our head, we're taught by society that we are what life defines us to be, or what
Yeah.
people say we are, right? And you're not what people say you are. You're not what the chaos is from an abusive relationship or abusive parents, or, you know, you're fat, you're ugly, you're too skinny, you're, you know, got a big nose, you're, you know, never going to amount to nothing. And people let that echo in their head over and over and over again. And they want to believe that. So they start to believe that. So guess what happens? Once you start to believe that, then your actions become that. And then your life actually becomes what those people said your life is going to be. And so if
Absolutely.
you just clear the chaos in your head and you follow your heart, because Heavenly Father created our heart, and that is our own special heart. Nobody has the same heart as you or me, right?
Mhm.
And so everybody's heart is different. And if you follow the true desires of your heart, and you'll find that that chaos starts to go away in your head. And then you realize, okay, what people said, that's more about them than it is about me. And
Mhm.
that's what it is. And sometimes you can go to those people and talk to them and figure out that, wow, I can actually help this person that was so mean and so vicious to me, and
Exactly.
let them know that, you know, hey, let me help you, you
Right.
know,
Mhm.
because that's what we need to do. We have to spread love and kindness and show in an abundance to people, because that's what the world needs, is more love, more people following their heart than following the chaos or the trends of the world.
So I'd like to ask you, because I've never asked you this question, what made you decide when you decided to go on your journey from 730 pounds to healthy, to out yourself and be very public about it and share what's going on? What made you be so public about your journey?
Um, that's actually a double-sided question, because when I first started the journey, I lost like 330 pounds that first year. And it was about the weight loss. And it was about the weight loss. That's basically what that first year was about, seriously. And I was like, wow, this is really working. This is really doing it. I'm doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then something happened. I went back to a mentality of, I didn't like people telling me I was beautiful, because I didn't believe it. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like people fondling on me and commenting and everything else. And I became kind of reclusive a little bit. And then I had some trials that hit. You know, I lost a baby in 2017. I lost my mom in 2018. My oldest daughter decided she was going to date a convict and do heroin. There was some major trials. And when I found out that those major trials were there, I went back up to 500 pounds, never 700 again. But every year for 2017, 18, and 19, I started the year at 500 pounds. And this last year and a half, I worked on my mind. I worked on the why. And I got down to some really nitty gritty stuff. And I figured out why. And then I started really sharing differently. And this year, this decade coming in, I was like, I am not starting at 500 pounds. I'm just not. We started at 490. And
Yes.
I was like, I'm going to do this. And the reason why is because of all the followers, all the people.
Mm-hmm.
I started reading the comments, and I started reading what I was doing and how I was helping people. And it became not about me and the weight loss anymore. It became about me and helping others, forgetting about who I was, and forgetting that I have 600 pounds to lose, and focusing on all these people that are relating to what I'm going through and helping them. So that changed drastically. And
Mm-hmm.
that is what gave me a brand new why, and a brand new desire, and a brand new flame. And for the first time in my life, I have been consistent and have not procrastinated since January. And that is the longest in my life that I can say that I've ever been consistent. And in doing that, I have helped thousands. And in doing that, I've also continued to lose the weight without even realizing I was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think your why sometimes changes. I think
Yep.
your desire sometimes changes. Of course, my biggest why is my 22-year-old daughter. She is the one that has had to help with the hemorrhoids, has to help when I get infections in the fat. She's the one that's had to help buckle my bra, get my clothes, cook, clean, everything. I've always worked her whole life as a dispatcher, but outside of that, I've really done nothing. And she is the one that has been my arms and legs. And to give her a piece of her life back, that is the biggest thing. And for her to know that I'm okay, and for her to find happiness, that is what my desire is for her. And just to know that she took a trip to New York a couple years back she was only gone 6 days, and I was okay during those 6 days. I mean, I had a lot of trials, but I was okay, you know. And I just want her to live her life, and I want her to find love, and I want her to go to school, and I want her to do what she wants for her life and not have to worry about mom. And that's changed our dynamic for our relationship as well, you know. So, I mean, when you make changes in your life, whatever they are, whoever you are, not everybody has 600 pounds to lose, but whatever you're doing to make changes, you have to understand that your dynamics of the people around you, the relationships around you, are going to change as well. I've lost friendships. I've lost, you know, family members. So you have to, people say get rid of the toxic, get rid of the toxic. It's not always easy to get rid of the toxic because we like the toxic. That toxic's feeding something in our life that we're liking, right? But eventually the toxic just fall off themselves, and you don't have to worry about them anymore because they're gone. So as a good friend of mine says, bless and release, right? Just let it go. And that's seriously a true statement, you know.
I love that. And, you know, you're absolutely right. Everyone's always trying to like figure out, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? One of my favorite authors, his name is John Strzelecki. He says, when people are always walking around going, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? He calls that mad how disease. And I love that because we don't have to know the how. We simply are here to be the most loving people that we can be to ourselves, most loving being that we can be to ourselves, and shine our light as bright as possible. And when we are walking in our truth, walking in our love, walking in our light every single day, every single choice, and anytime we step away from that, we're conscious of it and we say, oh, I see that I stepped away from that. What am I meant to learn? And how can I, you know, bring myself back to where I want to be? But sometimes we go off of that path, you know, into the dark side or shadow side. And it's not so easy to get back. And, you know, you talk about your dark night of the soul. I always call it dark night of the soul. You call it being at the bottom of the well. You know, there are times when you're making that journey upwards and, you know, leveling up. That's what I call it, leveling up. Each step you take, it's like, yeah, I'm going up. But when something comes up or something transpires that makes us feel like, oh, I can't believe this, you know, I've done all this work. Shouldn't my life be, you know, just sunshine and rainbows now? Why does there have to be like a block in the road or a pebble in my shoe constantly or something? And so what you're saying about knowing your why is so very important, because so many people say, oh, my why is my children. But the thing is like, we definitely, we love our kids. We want to do things for our kids, but our why is really always for us, because when we are being the best us that we can be, everyone around us prospers because of who we choose to be. And I see that with everything that you do, everything that you post. And I just love it. I love your energy.
And that's exactly it. Everyone prospers from what we can do, right? We are still, we're selfish humans by nature, right? Some of us, I've met a couple people that, like my youngest daughter, that are born with a heart of just like, oh my gosh. Like sometimes I'm like, you know, do you ever get tired of helping people? Like, do you ever get tired? Like, I'm looking at her like, oh my gosh, right? But when we learn to serve others, and whether it be serving through the internet of just saying, have a great day, or you look beautiful on a comment. People post things for a reason. They want a reaction.
Mhm.
They're looking for a positive reaction, right?
Right,
They'll
right.
post a picture and they think it's just the most beautiful picture in the world, right, of themselves, and they want you to reply and tell them that because they need that instant gratification. They
Mhm.
need that instant self gratification. So anything we do is basically for ourselves, right? But when you learn to love others and serve others, you find yourself in the process. It's so hard to explain, but
Mhm.
that's what's happened. And that's why my why changed. And that's why my journey changed, is because it became more about the people than it did about me and the pounds. Yeah, 300 pounds lost is great. And I've actually probably lost more because I gained and lost and gained and lost, right? But it's not even about that. That when I post a post like that, because people are curious, okay, where are you at now? Like, what are you doing? And so every 2 months, I try to keep them updated with the weight and the inches and everything. And yeah, it makes you feel good. You get that instant self gratification, and you get that I've got to keep going because in 2 months, guess what? They're going to want to hear more results, right? But in the same process, so many people are like, hey, I, I lost 30 pounds this year. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And I talk to them about that. Or they're like, I need to lose weight. How did you do this? And then you find something else, or you find somebody that says, I'm in a troubled relationship off of a post like that, right?
Mhm.
And
Right.
you help them and you start loving them. And then you forgot that you've even lost the 300 pounds at that point. And you're so wrapped up in all these other people's lives, but you feel so good and you're on fire because you're getting all the good nuggets from other people by helping them. And
Right.
you're able to put those nuggets inside of you and you're able to keep going for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what the journey should be about. It should never be about just you, 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 you. Do you know what I mean? It just shouldn't be, because you're never going to get to where you want to be, and you're never going to be completely happy with yourself until you learn to serve and love others. And
Exactly.
that's just, it's the greatest thing when I post something. And just like these do hard things shirts, right? I
Mhm.
got that out there now. And that has nothing to do with me. That has to do with people, to remind them, whatever you're facing, spiritually, emotionally, physically, you can do hard things. Do you know what I mean? You can go out there and do it. And it has nothing to do with the 700-pound girl losing the weight. It has to do with you trying to dig a trench in the backyard so you can have a pool. Or it has to do with you, taking care of all your 10 children that you created, and a couple of them may be autistic. Do you know what I'm saying? It
Right.
has to do with you dealing and facing that man that has belittled you and abused you and has, is there every day in your face. And you got to be reminded that I am worthy and
Mhm.
I can do hard things, right?
Mhm.
If everybody can just believe I am worthy. There was somebody that I worked with for the mental part, and she was like, write I am worthy on your mirror, and write some things about yourself that you like, right? And
Mhm.
that was a really hard thing to do, and leave it on your bathroom mirror I left it there for 3 weeks,
Mhm.
and it had different things, and as the 3 weeks went on, I was able to write more things because I started believing more things about myself. But it was a
Mhm.
really hard thing to do, and so many of us don't believe that, and so many of us just want to sit and believe what the man that is abusing us, or woman in a relationship, or the father or mom, the way they taught us,
Mhm.
or our bosses or our mentors or our friends. A lot of people make fun of the friend. They say skinny people always keep one fat girl around because she's the one that is the one that you feel comfortable with
Mhm.
because you think you're better, kind of thing,
Yeah.
kind of like that. And I was always like, I mean, I wasn't heavy until my adulthood. So but I still look at my friends, and a lot of them are still my friends, and all of my friends are really good looking and thin. And I used to ask them, did you just keep me around because I was the easy scapegoat? Do you know what I mean? We like to keep people around us that make us feel better about ourselves, but sometimes some people keep the fat girl around to make them feel better about themselves because they know they're better than that. But yet they're suffering and they're dying so much inside that that's why they do something like that, right?
Well, and
So
then sometimes people will keep the heavy person around, or the heavy person will keep the thin people around to remind themselves of why they don't deserve to be healthier. See, it's like that belief that we tell ourselves. So whatever the belief is, and everything that I do, all the clients that I work with, everything's around one focal point. What is your belief? Why do you believe it? What is the feeling and the emotion attached to it? And now let's recognize it and release it. Because when you do, it's gone for good. And when you stop sharing your story from a place of pain, or you stop sharing your story from a place of victim and vengeance mode, your whole heart chakra area opens up and everything centers in the heart chakra. And then that sends this wonderful, beautiful vibrational energy to the brain. And the brain's like, yeah, let's get out there and do something wonderful for someone. That's why it feels so good to get out there and start helping others rather than just commiserating about what you're going through and, going down that rabbit hole of, oh, woe, it's me type thing. And it's one of the reasons, like, I was just so pulled to, the comments and the, from you. I guess I don't really go down and read the comments that people post on your posts, but it's the energy that's coming from you that I'm just so really, I think you're amazing. I think you're an amazing woman.
Thank you. I likewise. I think that you're amazing with what you do as well, and the energy that you give people, and the positivity that you're trying to help people with, and just show that they can overcome their fears and overcome the situations that they're in and believe in themselves. I think that that's amazing. Just like you said, I'm going to ask you, why you're fabulous. And I'm like, that's a hard question. And it really is, right? Because do we really believe we're fabulous? Do we really believe we're gorgeous? Do we really believe that we're, made for so much more than what we settle for?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and you help people recognize that they are worth that. And I think that's amazing. So thank you so much for having me on here. And I'm so honored to be talking to you. It's like I'm talking to a celebrity.
Well, we are all here to link arms and share our knowledge and our journey with each other and find a way that our essence and our brilliance and our bright shining light can engage and enlist the help of others. Like, how can we all link arms? How can we all rise together? It's not about one person shining brighter than the other. It's not about one person, like being more prosperous or more abundant or more, oh, look, I finally did this, and so I'm better. No one is better or worse. Everyone is exactly the same. And I love, I like to listen to Wayne Dyer over and over and over and over again. And just his stuff just always feeds my soul. And I heard something that he did a while ago, and he said something about no one is better or worse than anyone else. So we really don't even need a name for that. Like, I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. So we don't even need a name for it. And I thought about that for a long time, and I thought, well, that's true. And, you said something about people keeping certain people in their life. And I saw something posted on social media recently where there was a very, very heavy woman, and there were two women, and they were kneeling, and they had no clothes on, and they had their foreheads together. And the woman on the left was very, very, very heavy. And the woman on the right was very unhealthy, anorexic. Bones just
did that.
Did you post it?
Yeah.
And the message, it doesn't even need any words or anything. The message for that, thank you. I couldn't remember where I saw that. The message was so profound because, as a society, we think we have to look this way or walk this way or wear this or talk to this person or, hey, we're special today because I photobombed Brad Pitt and now I'm all that in a box of chocolates,
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not about what can I do to be in someone else's space to make me feel better about myself. It's what can I do for me that makes me realize the awesomeness that I am, the fabulousness that I am. And that's why I'm always asking people, what makes you fabulous? And when they have a difficult time answering that question, I really encourage them to find an answer to it, because we are all fabulous, each one of us individually. And just like you said, you know, I am worthy. I am worthy. I have clients that I work with, and Louise Hayes taught an exercise called the mirror exercise, where you look at yourself in the mirror directly in your eyes and you say, I love you. I love you. And I have clients who tell me, I can't do that. No, that's just too hard. I can't do that. And we work on that till we get to a point where you can actually look at yourself in the mirror. And my mentor and guy that just really turned this all on for me years ago in the 80s, Jack Canfield, I always have to give him a shout out. I remember he was talking one time and he said he was doing the mirror exercise and he said, I think I took it a bit too far because he's standing there going, I love you. I love you. And his wife walked in and she's like, Jack, what are you doing? And he goes, well, maybe I took it a bit too far, you know, but I mean, it's so wonderful when you can look at your mirror image, no matter where you're focusing, and say, I love you. And he talks about, you know, like if there's a certain part on your body that you're like, you know, look at that part of your body and say, I love you because this is what you do for me. And, you know, your whole essence will feel that. Your heart chakra will open and the energy around you just like vibrate so exponentially. And you say, oh my gosh, I feel that with every fiber of my being. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then it's another opportunity to walk in gratitude and feel gratitude. And when you're walking in gratitude and feeling grateful and feeling worthy and feeling valuable, you want to do more things to keep fueling that feeling because that feels good.
Most definitely. That's exactly it. That's, you know, and that's why I do what I do, is because I feel the gratitude, and I feel the, you know, gratitude is such a big word, right?
Yeah.
Gratitude can mean you have gratitude for somebody because something they've done for you, like the followers and the people that, you know, support me. I have such gratitude for them. Like it's overwhelming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, um, or you can have, you know, just gratitude that you feel towards somebody because you know that they're just a really good person. They haven't even done anything for you, but you feel gratitude towards them. So gratitude is such a big word, and it's such, has so many definitions, and
Yeah.
it makes you feel phenomenal. It
Mm-hmm.
makes you feel fabulous if you want to know
It
the
does.
truth.
It does.
And you know, you could even be fabulous if you have gratitude in your life, because that means that you have love. That means that you have compassion. That means that you are giving to others and to God's children, and you're not just selfish and hoarding it and you know, just taking all the glory for yourself. So weird how the world has slowed down so fast, right?
Right.
And what we've had to face. We've had to face our own families.
Mm-hmm.
We've had to face our own selves. And I think that that's crazy. We don't have a football game to go to right now. We don't have a concert to go to. We don't have all these celebrities to look up to and to idol and to worship and all that. We have just our basic family. Whatever your family circle is, that's what you have right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you have yourself to face yourself in the mirror, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And to actually face the closet that you hadn't cleaned out in decades. Okay. So you had to face all that. And I think it's so crazy how the world just slowed down and is making us stop and realize what some of our priorities should be,
Mm-hmm.
instead of keeping up with, you know, the Kardashians, so to speak, and instead of keeping up with the, you know, the best football team who's going to win the, you know, Super Bowl kind of thing. We're having to keep up with the kids we created and have to homeschool. And we're having to realize, oh my gosh, what are we going to eat for dinner? Because, you know, we can't just go out to dinner tonight. We've got to actually plan meals, and we have to have a game night because we got to keep these kids entertained. We got to keep ourselves entertained. I need a book to read. I need self-love. I've got to face my husband for the first time in decades and realize that we don't even really communicate with each other.
Right.
And we have to learn to love each other and love that unity. So if we could just keep doing that in our lives and putting ourselves first, so to speak, but in the same process, learning to love what we've created and what's around us. Because the reality of our life is what's around us the most, right? You become the five people you hang around the most are what you become, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those 5 people can change because in different aspects of your life, you have different people that enter. Like when I first started this journey, there was a group of people that were in my life. And somehow we outgrew each other and different expectations and different things have happened and we're no longer together, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still thankful for what they provided in my life, and I hope I provided something in their life, and I'm grateful for those people. But I pray for those people to have the best life. But I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh my gosh, what did I do? What did they do? Why don't they love me? Because that would have been the old Nicole. That would have been the old person that would have done that. And I don't sit and dwell. Sometimes you have to let them go. So if you can just keep circling yourself with people, your 5 people may change, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person because you've had those people change. It just means at that time in your life, you needed those people. They're influential. And then now you've grown to something else and something else and something else.
Exactly.
Because my ultimate goal is to be able to, go and talk with thousands and to, have meetups in different states and so on and so on. That is my ultimate goal for people, and to be able to help them and to be able to communicate with them and to let them know that don't let your light, don't hide your light under a bushel. Let it shine, because you too can help so many people. And if we were able to do that, if we had a blackout, could you imagine how bright the world would be just by the individual lights that were shining because everybody shared what they have?
Absolutely.
So share what you have and love others and have that gratitude for others. And we've all been there. I've been in abusive relationships. I've been raped. I've had some serious things that have happened to me in my lifetime. And you know what? You just got to keep going, and you got to keep pushing through, and you got to deal with those issues that have happened. Yes, you most definitely have to deal with it, but you can't dwell. It doesn't define who you are.
Right.
And that's what I've learned over the last year and a half. It does not define who you are. The 730 pounds never defined who I was. The 430 pounds don't define who I am today either. That is just the outside appearance of me. I'm a whole different person inside. My heart is different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for every individual, no matter what you're facing. Any handicap that you may have, it doesn't define you. Whatever, if you think you're the ugliest person in the world, maybe you just have, big blemishes, or you have whatever, that doesn't define you.
Mm-mm.
Your heart is what defines you. And if you can just learn that, and learn that is going to be by serving others, giving gratitude to others, and helping others.
Absolutely.
Even if it's just going on social media and going to your friends list and going through and just wishing somebody a happy birthday. You've just made their day, and you've showed love. Mm-hmm. Just by going and liking their picture. You could not even really like the picture, but they want to hear that. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes you have to be honest too. I believe in being honest, but
right.
We'll go and love and show love and support. Go through Instagram and double click that little heart for people, because that's going to make their day. Maybe that's the only heart they're going to get in the course of a day. Exactly. And maybe you really made them feel like, wow, one person really liked this. That made me feel happy. So it doesn't have to have thousands of followers. You don't have to have thousands of comments to go through. You don't have to be anything like that, but you just have to love and support and things like that. And that's it,
Mm-hmm.
So.
The Chinese have a symbol, and the way that it's drawn, it means crisis and opportunity. So how you're looking at the symbol, it's letting you know that crisis can be viewed as opportunity. Opportunity can be viewed as crisis. And what you were talking about with being isolated and trying to figure out new ways to live our lives, or struggling with a goal that we have, it could be a crisis, or it can be an opportunity, because every crisis is an opportunity for an opportunity. And what you were talking about a little bit ago, when you said, you've been through certain experiences and challenges in your life, and you're not going to let them define you. I love Carl Jung saying, when I first read this, I thought, oh my gosh, it's not what happens to you that matters. It's what you do with what happens. And I remember the first time that I read that, I thought, could that be true? Could it be true that there could be something so worthwhile in me that could be true for me? And it just takes one phrase, one person, one comment that could turn on a light for someone, and then they'll start researching more. Well, if that's true, what else could be true? Well, if that's true, maybe there's a possibility for that. And then you keep going and you realize that what seemed impossible, now you know it's possible. And now that you know that it's impossible, everything becomes possible. And that's what I love, again, as I said, about what you're sharing and the journey that you're on and that you're sharing with people, because you're not making it about the weight loss. You're making it about the the positiveness. I love that.
Mm, most definitely. I love that too.
So Nikki, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your story and your wisdom and your encouragement. Can you tell people how to get a hold of you if they want to know more about your journey? Maybe they want to talk to you and just, get some guidance from you.
Sure. They can, I'm on Facebook under Nikki Aguayo, and I also am on Instagram at New Nikki 300. So you can find me on both places if you want. And then, of course, you can always message me through Messenger. And I do look at the people that aren't even my friends and get back to you as well.
Fabulous. Well, Nikki, again, thank you so much for this opportunity to be part of your journey, to help you share your message and get your message out there and help you shine your light as bright as possible. And for all of you that are watching this, thank you for tuning in. Please leave some comments. Let us know what you thought. And if you feel that, there's something in here that resonated with you, please like and share the video, because you never know, by you liking and sharing, who else might see your like, see your comment and say, oh my gosh, this is just what I needed to hear today. And if you really like what we're sharing here, subscribe to our channel. Let others know, because I really want this channel, Life is All About Choices, to be a place where someone can go when they are feeling like, I just don't know where else to turn. And then they say, oh, hey, I wonder if there's something on Life is All About Choices that will help me kind of get over the hump of what I'm going through right now. And that's why I'm here. That's why I do this. That's why I come to you every week with a new video. So like and share. Let us know what you think. And in the meantime, remember, life is all about choices. This is Nancy Muller saying ciao for now.